Welcome to the Next Level Podcast. Yo, what is up, you guys? Welcome to the Next
What's up,
Level
Felix?
Podcast. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing good.
That's perfect. How you doing, Bailey?
What's the word, birds? We're here.
Sheesh, let's go.
Great day.
I actually don't know what the topic of today's conversation is. What are we talking about today,
What's
guys?
the topic, Anthony?
Going for gold.
Going for gold.
Yep. Going for gold.
Anthony was an Olympic athlete on the bike.
No, I was an Olympic athlete in the pool.
Come on, man.
All
You were
right.
both.
I did the doggy paddle.
Oh, that's difficult.
Dang. Doggy paddle, that's
Takes
crazy.
concentration.
They have small little legs.
Absolutely.
Dog.
Yeah, that's
Tread water for hours.
yeah,
It's just whoever can tread the most water
that's difficult.
The most water. Yeah.
I'd think, yeah.
without sinking. I lasted like 4 days.
Yeah, go for gold.
Wow.
Yep.
Gotta give you credit.
Got a gold medal. Now
Absolutely.
we're talking about the Olympics.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
Yeah,
the
that's-
Olympics.
The Olympics has been on everywhere
I know.
all the time. There's always
It's
something.
fun.
There's always something going on with the Olympics.
I've never paid so much attention to the Olympics before.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
It's got a lot of drama, natural drama. You don't have to write it in. It's not
Uh-oh.
scripted. People train for years.
Yeah.
Years, decades even.
Yeah.
Just
long
to-
time.
Yeah, no. These kids, I was watching the girls, the Olympics, the gymnastics,
Like Simone Biles, she's been training since
since they were kids.
they were in the crib doing handstands.
Yeah,
in
they
the
started
crib.
out the little gymnastics, those little trampoline parks,
Yep.
Yeah,
flipping and dipping. And it's amazing what these athletes do.
Absolutely.
yeah, it's pretty,
Dedication.
yeah, it's pretty incredible, isn't it? To work your whole life from child to have one moment, you know.
Yeah,
to,
I mean,
to really show out. So it's, you know, when somebody has maybe a bad set or whatever in the Olympics, you know, they get very, very emotional. You can feel for them because they've trained their whole life for that moment.
yeah.
Yep.
So
I mean, and so it's not about the money either. So
Mm-hmm.
you think about like archery or, you know, they obviously get endorsements, but for the most part, ping pong. I mean, nobody knows the badminton champion, but
Mm-hmm.
they still train like it's their life depends on it.
ping pong ain't no joke, man.
No,
I know.
no, man. I've
What
tried
what
it.
I'm saying is, I mean, there's not like huge money in that.
Oh yeah.
Like in U.S. sports, I mean, or soccer,
Mm-hmm.
in football, basketball, baseball. I mean, there's millions of dollars. That's some motivation there to train. Obviously, those guys love it, but there's a lot of money involved in that stuff too.
Right.
And so they go to great lengths. You think about their families have to make sacrifices to take them to practice, to take them to tournaments, and you just watch some of the stories on the girls and the guys that are participating, and you're like, wow, what dedication.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was kind of relating it to delayed gratification, to training that many years, that much time, that much sacrifice put into something that you love or that you want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's talent involved,
Absolutely.
but there's also dedication. There's also all that hard work
Mm-hmm.
that they put into it, and I was comparing that to the business we're in real estate investing, and we talk to people all the time. And we see a lot of young guys, girls that, you know, come to events or that we talk to that, hey, I want to get into this, or they get into that, and talk about delayed gratification. I mean, they want instant gratification. Most people.
Yeah.
And so they'll work towards a goal for a couple of years, maybe 6 months, and you know they work on some skill as far as real estate investing, and they give up.
Yep.
A lot of people give up on their goals, and it doesn't have to be just real estate investing. It could be any type of accomplishment they want to have. You know, financial goal, real estate goal, whatever, and they give up because they want it. They want immediate gratification. They want immediate success. They want to be wealthy. They want to be rich.
Yeah.
And we've learned in any business that that's not the case.
Yeah.
It's like training for the
Yep.
Olympics.
Yeah, and relative to real estate investing and things of that nature, when you put it towards when you relate it towards people in the Olympics and they've trained for so long, and you think about, man, like if you're just starting out, man, I've been doing this for 6 months. I mean, the people in the Olympics, they're masters at their craft, and they've been doing it for decades. And
Right.
so if you look at it from that vantage point, I mean, when you start dipping your toe into real estate investing, if you're just starting out, think about it from a long-term perspective. The days are volatile, the months are less, the years are less volatile, the decades are even less volatile than that. And the thing is, you just can't quit. There's going to be ups and downs, but it's cliche to say, but it's the reality of it.
Yeah, and there's sacrifice. Those athletes, no doubt they want to go play with their friends. They want to go play video games or whatever they do. But, they know they have to practice. They know they have to weight train, do all those things. Maybe you do have fun playing, gymnastics or swimming or whatever. But if you look at those athletes, their bodies, they're not in that shape because they just swim or because they hit the balance beam. They're hitting the weights, they're stretching, they're doing everything, their whole lifestyle,
Yep.
the way they eat, the way they think, their mental preparation, it's dedicated to excelling inside their sport.
Absolutely, and it's like both in Olympics and real estate, it's harder the older you are, not because you're older and you can't perform. No, I think it's harder because the older you are, the more likely you have a family, and then it's like, how do you divide your time for that? Because it's a lot of sacrifice, like you said earlier. It's a lot of time, and you were talking about friends playing video games, right? But now think about it like, okay, what if it's not video games? What if it's like spending time with your children, with your wife and your significant other? It's hard.
Or providing for your family.
Providing for your family.
Yeah, no. So you see young athletes, a lot of them 16 years old. We saw. I think it was it a gymnast? No, it wasn't. Somebody else. He was 16 years old.
Swimmer.
He was a swimmer.
Yeah.
He swam the last leg.
That's
A girl did too. Of the women's 4x200.
Mm-hmm.
But last night I was watching it. But those young kids. I mean, you're like, if you're in your 30s, you're old in the Olympics. Like late 20s. Simone Biles, I think, is 27, 28.
Yeah.
And she's
You're a
older
veteran.
now.
Yeah,
she's a veteran. So, I mean, like you said, Felix, it takes, and that's what real estate, getting into real estate at a young age, that's an advantage because you do have time. And real estate takes time to see appreciation, to, like you said, Bailey, like those decades, the decades. People that we talk to individuals all the time that are older, that have had real estate for a long time. Where we just ask them, and all of them, they didn't do anything miraculous. They just made sacrifices and let time take its course.
Yep. And it can be tedious to do what is necessary day in, day out. To make the phone calls that you don't really feel like making. Sometimes you make great phone calls and you get excited, but you have to also make the phone calls that are difficult to make, have the conversations that are difficult to have, with these sellers. And it like Anthony said, it's not anything miraculous. It's nothing sexy. You have to find joy in the tedium, in the day to day, and find joy there's joy in the progress. I think that's how I see it.
Yeah, no, it's, if you gotta like what you're doing, you gotta see, and you gotta take advantage of the things that you can enjoy. So maybe you don't enjoy talking to people. Mm-hmm. You don't have to. You can rely on somebody that could get the deal for you. But maybe you enjoy putting the deal together or doing the numbers. Well, once you do that, and okay, this is what I got to do, then you have to make a sacrifice. You might have to postpone a purchase that you want to buy, maybe a nice watch, or you want to buy a car. But instead you say, you know what, I'm going to buy a piece of real estate this year. Put all my money here for a little bit. And then you don't have to do it every year. I was watching a video.
Yeah, Thak.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
Yeah, he's really cool to watch.
Shout
out Thak.
I follow Thak. And he was just saying, you don't, it's nothing crazy. It's just like maybe one or two, one purchase every couple of years. Mm-hmm. If you take that, like in a decade, that's, say you averaged one, so you bought 3 properties. If you have 3 properties, like from the time you're 20 to 30, then time you're 30 to 40, you have 6, 50 to 40 to 50, you have 9. I mean, those properties, they're going to appreciate. They're going to do a lot. 9 properties. Most people don't have 9 properties. You talk to people, they don't have 9 properties. You talk to people, they have 100 properties. Yeah, that's very far and few and in between. Mm-hmm. But 9 properties, or just say I have a handful of properties, I think you're doing pretty well.
Yeah. Your coach, doesn't he, Tom Ferry, he says if you can try to buy a house a year,
If you could buy a house a year, I
you're
mean,
in really good shape. But a house every other year, yeah, that's solid. A lot of people can't do that for a long period of time. And I think the difficult thing to do for a lot of people, it's simple. Okay, I'm going to buy a house next year. It's simple to get all your ducks in a row to do that. But then your day to day gets in the way, and you're like, oh, you put it off, and the momentum, you have to ride the momentum. The moment the idea is fresh, and Felix is really good at this. The moment the idea is fresh, you have to implement. You don't have to know everything, but just move in that direction, implement it, and then you'll figure everything out on the way. Because the time that you start thinking about it too much, you start getting to paralysis by analysis, and now the decision the action never happens because you thought about it so much.
Yep.
So the key is to as soon as you have the idea, take action on it imperfectly, over and over and over until it gets better.
And I want to add on to that. So peaks, right? What happens in a peak? There's the way up, and then once you reach the peak, what ends up happening? Then you start going down, right?
Yeah.
So when you reach the peak of that interest, that's when you just got to like drop everything and get into it, because as you go, you're going to be learning. You're going to maybe look up a YouTube or an article, or you're going to try and figure it out on your own. You're going to be like, okay, I get this. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. Now you go and you have to do further research. Okay,
Yeah.
what is this? What is this? And because you have reached that peak, you're at the top of that mountain and you're slowly going down, and that's going to keep you to do that whole research or figuring out what you're supposed to do. And then before you even reach halfway down, you got it. Now you know exactly what needs to happen. You know what you need.
But your willpower is diminished greatly.
If you wait, you peak, right? And you're like, okay, I'll get to it when I can. By the time you do that, you're probably going to be down here. And then when you find out that you're going to have to go extra steps and you got to learn more because it's a lot more complicated than you think, or there's more pieces to it, you're probably going to be like, nah, you know what? Not anymore.
Yep, 100%.
yeah, and I think the interesting thing and why so many people are interested in real estate investing is because it's been the most constant, stable way to have a retirement, have money later in life, or just to be able to have a lifestyle that you want to have. So, we talk about it because we've seen it change, people's lives, and help people. I've seen people make one really good purchase, and it kind of just takes care of them for their life. So, whether, whatever that is, maybe you have to sell that property when you're in your 30s or your 40s. Or maybe you get to hang on to it till you're in your 60s or 70s, and then you use that property to live off of, maybe the cash flow, or you sell it and you have money to retire with. Whatever the case is, when you're young, we were talking about being young. When you're interested and you're young and you have the energy, like you were saying, Felix, that peak, the energy level is really what we're talking about.
Least
here.
amount of responsibilities.
You have least amount of responsibilities. You have help from your family.
Friends.
Your friends or
young.
family. People mentor you when you're younger because they want to help you. They want to see you do better.
Yeah, people like helping people for the most part.
Yeah, and it's fun. We do. I mean, it doesn't matter the age, but if somebody young is interested, like you guys, I mean, you guys are much younger than me, and so I always tell you guys, like, you guys started way earlier. You guys will do way better, which is awesome to me.
So hard, man. I want to go buy a motorcycle. I want to go do this.
No,
and
Felix, no.
Dude, it's not easy, man. It's not easy.
But a motorcycle, you want to buy a gun.
Yeah,
you want to buy.
I want to do this.
You want to go on a trip.
Yeah.
And
like,
then when you get older, you get a family. Your wife wants, like myself, your wife wants to go on a vacation. She wants this and that, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I also see, when you're in real estate and you're doing it day to day, you're seeing, oh man, that's a great deal. This is a great deal. You want to buy everything too. Like, she wants to buy something. You want to buy. It's just a different thought process. So it takes that discipline and that balance. And I think, Olympians, going back to that, they have so much dedication and so much focus on that I'm sure it's an adjustment life after Olympics.
Absolutely.
And I think another important thing, too, that not very many people talk about is once you take action, start to get into a groove and find something that is sustainable. Because just like you look at going into maybe gymnastics or something, going to the gym or anything that you do, when you take that imperfect action, it's easy to take a lot of action for a short amount of time. But once you start taking action and you start to figure out, okay, what is my threshold for my willpower? Anthony talks about balance. It segues into that. You have to do something every day on a consistent basis for a long period of time. There's no way around it.
Yeah, and I think you were talking about finding that satisfaction in the progress.
Yeah.
And so if you take that action, you will see progress. It just takes time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And educate yourself on it too. A gym analogy is you think like, oh, I want to look like this or I want to do that. And then you think you're trying to burn fat or whatever. And you go to the gym and all you're doing is crunches, you know, and then it's like, there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
You know, educate yourself, understand how exactly do you build muscle? How exactly does your body lose fat? How exactly does that work? Is strength training good for you?
Yeah.
Are you trying to do bodybuilding? Do you want to be a power builder? Do you want to do cardio? You know, there's so many.
Now you can get into it, but the reality of it is you got to the gym and you just started crutches, so now you're invested. Now your time's invested. That's
you're
the
there.
important part. 100%.
You're in.
Yeah.
Now learn more about
Exactly. That's when you can start. Okay, let's try to figure out this parachute on the way down.
it. Absolutely.
And that's that habit being built.
Yeah, and then something you said about sustainability. I don't know if it's a meme, but it's a picture, right? And I always remember because I thought it's just so good. You have two guys and you have two ladders, right? One ladder, the steps are spaced out like that. They're very far from each other. The other ladder, the steps are a lot closer. And then it says one step at a time.
Yeah.
And how it's saying, like, take it slow. Like, take it one step at a time. The other guy, he only had four
Rungs.
Four of those, right? But, like, they're so far away, he's going to be so exhausted reaching each one.
Yeah.
While the other guy, he's just...
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's pacing yourself, that balance, and then the habit being, to do things. So even if you're not buying something, maybe you're not in a position financially to buy something. Maybe you do have to wait. But if you learn, you learn to make calls and to get familiar with people and go to events and go to, real estate classes or real estate training, investor training, or just whatever you're doing something, moving that needle forward, whether it's education or whether it's actually, hey, show me what you're doing, or sitting down with somebody, hey, what did you do? How did you do that?
Yeah.
And learning all that stuff, because there's so many facets to real estate. I mean, you could do well in financing, you could do well in sales, in property management. I mean, there's so much to learn, and so with all those skills and those habits that you do, we're talking about time again. 4 years, every 4 years, those athletes are training just for, you take a sprinter that runs the fast, like the 100-meter dash or whatever, that's 10 seconds,
Yeah, kind of crazy to think about.
and then it's over.
And then it's done.
Trained his whole life for it.
You're done.
So,
What's something that's very powerful too? Going where you want to be. Hanging out with the right people. Like if you want to be successful, hang out with successful people.
Yeah.
You wanna become a better reader, writer, hang out with people that read and write. It's like wherever you'll find what you look for. Like if you want a significant other that loves Cocoa Puffs, then go to Walmart every day and go to the cereal aisle, and when you see somebody get that Cocoa Puffs, boom, there you go.
is that what you're doing?
Huh?
Is that what you did?
Yeah, put yourself in the right position. Yeah.
No, that's true. I mean, I love that feeling. Yeah, you don't put yourself inside the aisle with, veggies.
Yeah, if you don't like veggies, why are you talking to somebody in the veggie aisle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's you got to be in the right place at the right time. I mean, there's amount of luck involved.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about life in general, but building the habits is, I think, what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Building the habits, discipline,
habits,
and
sustainability,
and not wanting instant gratification.
Oh, that's the killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the instant gratification. Yeah, man, it's hard with social media, with all the apps, all the games.
You listen to all these guys. Do this, and you'll become a millionaire.
Oh, yeah.
They all contradict each other.
Yeah.
Super fast. You want to become a millionaire? Easy. Buy this $35,000 course, and then join the VIP for $20,000 more, and then come to our events at our area for $50,000. You're like, whoa, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
No,
Ga-
that's what
and
happens.
Influencers. Do you guys know who Gary Vee is?
No.
Gary
Oh yeah,
Vaynerchuk.
no, yeah.
So Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary Vaynerchuk is all about, hey, take your time. It takes a long time, and then you look at somebody like, forgive me if I misquote, but like Grant Cardone, he's like speed, fast. So they kind of contradict each other. Right? I see truth in both. Things take time, but at the same time, you have to take action fast.
Yeah, no, I think because I'm the same way. Like I'm not a big Grant fan, but I like Gary. But there's different people. Like some people need that motivation, need to be pushed. Like Felix was saying, if they get peaked out, they're not going to do it.
Yep.
So they got to do it quickly, or try to do something, move. Other people, they can be patient. They see the vision.
Yep.
They see.
Depends on the personality. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're an Olympic athlete and you have the talent, and there's a lot of people that don't live up to their talent, their skills, but if they have that and somebody sees that in them and says, hey, you should train because you could, like I've seen a lot of Olympic athletes, you could be one, you could do whatever you're doing, and so
Don't take those shortcuts either.
yeah.
Because do you guys know who Will Tennyson is?
Sounds familiar.
Freaking love that guy, man. I love his videos. He's a bodybuilder, and he's just so down to earth. He's pretty much like a version of Ryan Reynolds. He's from Canada too.
Oh, okay.
And he did a video recently where he went around asking people if they were taking steroids or not, right? And it was surprising that there was actually a few individuals who were, more than 3, I think, and they were all kind of young, and they all had the exact same argument as to why they were doing it. And they were like, because I think I reached my peak. Or there was a lot of people that also were considering it, and their argument was the same thing. Well, I wouldn't take it right now. The only time that I would maybe consider taking steroids was if I were to reach my full potential and I reached my barrier. And then he talked to these 2 body scientists, and he was like, this was their argument. How many people from the studies actually reach their full potential? And they're like, less than 1%.
Yeah.
Less than 1%, And then they're like,
You just got to push through, right?
yeah, you're like, look, if you're not reaching your potential, it's either because of these 3 things. 1, you're not dieting correctly. 2, you're not, I don't remember if he said putting in the work. And 3, you've been doing it for less than 10 years.
That's true.
But everybody was like, and then he asked them, like, how long have you been working out? A year, 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, you're just barely starting. You got a
starting, yeah.
whole road ahead of you, and they're taking years away from their life.
Yeah. Like when people. Yeah.
And I think because people do it for the wrong reason. Like, why are you bodybuilding? Are you doing it because you enjoy it? Or are you doing it because you want to look a certain way?
Social media.
Social media,
It's
yeah.
always the villain, man.
And I think it is. I think
Vanity.
social
Yeah.
media is a problem, especially for young kids.
Yeah, because that was the other thing that everybody said. Social media.
Okay, so
I'm seeing this guy, that guy.
so if that's your motivation, and then it's your desire is going to fade quickly.
yeah.
That dopamine hit. That's a conversation for another day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think we did good on discussing, like making that parallel between the Olympics, because we wanted to talk about something that's relevant
Yeah.
and something that people is on everybody's mind. We're all watching the Olympics right now, but if you look at those athletes and they've dedicated themselves for 4 years or maybe the last decade just to get to their first Olympics. Wow, what sacrifice, what dedication, what time, energy, and effort they've put into it. And it takes that in business. It takes that in real estate investing. It takes that time, the energy, the sacrifice, and the dedication to be able to reach your goals.
Yeah.
And so I just hope to be able to do that for a long enough period of time, because I've only been doing it for like 6 years. No, well, a little longer, maybe 10.
Damn, we've
But-
only been doing it for like 3-4, right?
Probably 4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
That's crazy.
and we've been able to be successful. I mean, we're not experts fully 100%.
Yeah.
We're definitely professionals, but there's a lot we can learn, and we got a long way to.
And we're just
ourselves.
getting started, man.
We haven't even made it to one Olympics yet. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, we gotta make it, man.
Oh, man.
So next year you guys are performing.
That, I don't know, man. That pumps the fuck out of me knowing that, like, we're just barely getting started and shit's just going to get better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
You
super
gotta-
exciting.
Yeah, you got to put in the work, because I've been doing this for 4 years now, close to 5, and things have been getting good, you know, gradually. And it's been gradual, right? But after 4 or 5 years, you look back at the initial point, you're like, there's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
when it becomes parabolic, I think you guys are getting ready to skyrocket.
We all are.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
dude.
we're all are getting ready to skyrocket.
Hell yeah.
but, it's been a lot of learning and creating a
Mhm.
nice base.
Yep.
So we've been building the muscle and everything, and now you're perfecting. Now you're trying to hound the skill.
And I love that you can always get better. There's plenty of room for growth, always.
Yeah, or learn something new that you're like, wow, I can implement.
Oh,
that and it's
absolutely.
gonna make
Yeah,
me-
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get the gold.
All
do
right.
it.
Get the goal, guys. We're next level home buyers. We don't buy properties. We buy problems.